Good morning, trading world. It is August 12th, 2022, and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the SPY. Okay, so far things are lining up the way I thought. For those of you who didn't see the last two pre-market outlook videos, I was looking for a humdrum day Thursday, then a pullback going into Friday with another bullish gasp further into Friday's session. Now, about this humdrum day, if you looked at end of the day data, it was humdrum. It was a humdrum day because we closed exactly where we closed the day before. However, intraday was anything but humdrum. Every day I close out the video saying your most important job as a trader is protecting the capital you already have. And we do that by knowing and understanding your risk. You not only have to know and understand your risk, but you need a plan for when those thresholds are hit, whether that's already having a stop loss in effect or just knowing what actions you're going to take once that threshold is crossed. I don't talk about my primary positions because I don't suspect a lot of retail traders do what I do. A lot of my primary positions are naked premium sales, which can be a very dangerous way to make a living if you don't understand risk and volatility. For the first time in a long time, one of my risk thresholds came close to being hit. Now, I have it drilled in my brain that these types of trades can go against me up to 400% before I must take action by either closing the trade, taking the loss, or rolling it out and taking on more risk. Thankfully, my threshold was not hit, but it was close on just one of the many naked calls I am short. The key is not only know your risk, but to have a plan when that threshold is hit. So I just thought that since it has been so long since that threshold has come close, had even come close to being hit for me, I just thought it was a great reminder of what I always close out the videos with, in knowing your risk, and not only knowing that risk, but having a plan when that threshold is hit. So just wanted to kind of go over that before we get into the key levels of the day. So that was my diatribe for the morning. So let's get into the key levels to watch for. All right, here we are with the key levels of the day. Starting on the resistance side, our jack resistance is 422 to the 423 area. Our queen resistance is the 424 to the 425 area. And king resistance is 426 to the 428 area. Remember, this area right here is going to hold a lot of weight. This is where the major channel that we are currently in ends. At that, what is it, 425 area. All right, going to the support side. Our jack support is 421 to the 420 area. Our queen support is 419 to the 418 area. And then our king support is 417 to 414. The main thesis for today is bearish, closing below the 419.99 with a projected target low of between 419 and 414. The alternate thesis is bullish, closing above the 419.99 with a projected target high between 421 and 426. The current major channel we are in is 416 all the way up to 425. I am looking for somewhat of a quick spill back into the major channel below, anything below that 416, to kind of alert me that the momentum is gone and to get short on the next pop up. Let's take a look at the scenarios for the day. All right, our first scenario and highest probability is going to be our expanded range day structure. We could look to set a decision area high boundary around the Jack or Queen resistance area before chopping lower and then a possible rally later in the day. This chop lower could be a sudden spill. I mentioned that I am kind of looking for a quick spill back into the channel below, and if we get this quick, or it would almost seem like a free fall down back near this 416 area, 417, 416, or anything below that 418 area, and then we get a pop back up. That's going to kind of alert me that next week we could look to see a lot of downward activity. Even though we aren't quite where I want to be on the weekly, a pop lower would go a long ways into helping the weekly get into position of where I need it to be. So it's going to be real important for me at the close today to see where we are and to see whether I actually hold on to a short position going into next week in preparing for a gap down. So that's what I'm looking at for scenario number one, our expanded range day structure. Let's take a look at the next scenario. All right, the next scenario is our rounded reversal day type structure. We could get a continued push lower just after the cash open toward our Jack or Queen support area, and then find our midday chop around either the Queen or King support before spending the same energy we use going down to go back up the second half of the day. So this is our rounded reversal day type structure. There is always an alert or vice versa alert on that rounded reversal day type structure, which could give us something like this, where we end up continuing higher on the cash open, finding our midday chop around either the Queen or King resistance level, and then going down with the same amount of force that we went up with the first part of the day. So that's the vice versa warning on the rounded reversal, or vice versa warning. All right, now let's bring up the last scenario. All right, our final scenario is our trend day up. When we open gap up and start with a fade back toward the previous close, we find support on or before that previous close, then begin the uptrend for the morning. We find midday chop around either the possible Queen or King resistance area, and it'll be interesting to see how we close out today, whether we get the head fake and how big of a pullback we get or fade going into the close, if at all, today. The other thing I want to point out, because we do have a economic report coming in, import-export prices before the bell, it is quite possible we get a vice versa alert on the trend up day, and it could very well be a trend down day if import-export prices give us a bigger move than anticipated and get us below the previous close represented by the blue line. And if that happens, it is quite possible we could have a downtrend or trend down day. And that would look like this, with the economic report shooting us down. We would then have a rally coming into the open, or just after the open, getting us back, or trying to get us back, because we would then open gap down, and we would have that rally trying to fill the gap and get us back toward that previous close represented by the blue line. But we would find resistance on or before that blue line, and then we would have our golden window trend down here, which is the best time to trade. And then we will see our midday chop around the possible queen or king support area, and then a possible head fake. That head fake would act as though we were going to continue that main trend down. And then this is the part that's going to be interesting to see how much of a rally we would get going into the close. So that's the vice versa alert for that, since we're so close to economic data at 8:30. So those are the scenarios of the day that I am prepping for. We still have an imbalance left over from yesterday that we didn't go get. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, as that we're going to at some point continue that pullback that we started Thursday afternoon. At some point this morning or lunchtime, somewhere between this morning and lunch, we should continue that pullback a bit. And like I said, something I'll be watching for is if we spill back toward the edge of the main channel that we're in, that the lower end of that main channel is 416. So if we somehow spill back into 416 and then we get back above, that is going to be a key that momentum is pretty much done for, and it might cue me into getting into a short position going into next week. So that's what I'm looking for. As always, your most important job as a trader is to understand and know your risk. Not only know that risk, have a plan for when that threshold is hit. Again, I'm sorry, the most important part of being a trader is protecting the capital that you already have, and we do this by knowing and understanding the risk that you have on in each position and managing that risk in according to your account size. So I hope this helps. I close out each day wishing you a positive trading day. Hope you have a great one.